This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. Hey, what's up, everybody? If you've noticed my videos the last few weeks, I've been wearing the same clothes. And the reason that is not because I've been wearing the same clothes for a week, but I pre-recorded a bunch of videos, I believe, on Monday of last week. And I did that because my birthday is today. I wanted to give myself I haven't given myself like a week off in months, so I wanted to give myself a little break for my birthday, and today is my birthday when you're watching this video. My gift to you is an interview I'm doing with Voch Lombardi about DeJuan Jones and some of the Browns draft prospects. I also wanted to talk about the Patreon real quick. So dog check tier members have always gotten the name at the bottom of the scroll and their name at the end, and as well as regular Patreon members have always got their name at the end. What I've added to the Patreon, as you guys see in the intro of every video, is extra perks, exclusive early access, exclusive live streams, stuff like that. And then also I've added to the dog check tier membership, if you do the $10 and up, you get exclusive audio only versions of all the main channel videos. So that includes everything that I upload here except for like the Q&A and the commentary, since those require reading the comment on screen. It wouldn't really translate to an MP3 format, but all the other videos I try to have up when I upload in ad-free MP3 format, sometimes even before I upload, and in early access videos that are designated for Patreon as well. So that's all I want to tell you about, to let y'all know about the Patreon, let y'all know why I've been wearing the same clothes. Thank y'all for allowing me to do this another year, and hopefully for more years to come. But without further ado, this is the Voch Lombardi interview. I'm very excited for this one. Y'all have a great day. All right, I try to do this once a year, especially when the Browns get an offensive lineman. I try to bring in the expert of experts, Mr. Voch Lombardi. You know, he works for the Volume Now, Cowboys YouTuber, offensive lineman guru. Well, really just a film guru for real. How you been, man? And I want to talk about DeJuan Jones. I think he is the most interesting dude in this draft, because you look at the tape, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is first round pick, no doubt. And then something happened in that pre-draft process. I know we heard about the thing at the Senior Bowl where he just practiced for one day, left. Apparently he had a horrible visit with the Steelers. You know, like, how does a dude like that, who when you look at him, you go, there's no way this dude's not going to be a first round pick, end up going in the 4th round sometimes?
So, you know, you got to weigh the pros and cons of the dude that you got based on how good that you think they are. You know, Micah Parsons had a lot of baggage coming out, but boy, you 250 and you run faster than everybody. Boy, we gonna talk this through, and we're gonna figure this out. But at the end of the day, I think what makes Parsons kind of passed a lot of those tests that he's love football guy, right? He loved football guy. He did some dumb stuff, but he loved football. So when we have Jalen Carter falling to 9th overall, teams had concerns on if he loved football. Jalen Carter was the best player on my board in the draft. So Jalen Carter should have gone, you know, in one of those top 3 or so picks. But, you know, you don't want to be in a situation where you draft this dude and in 2 years, you know, he sips, surf, drink, and smoke weed all day and he don't want to work out for you. Not saying that that's Jalen Carter. I'm just saying some concerns that the league may have when you run into a dude that's not I love football guy. I think the league was willing to deal with him being big as hell. They was willing to deal with the idea that they don't know where his weight fluctuation came from. They was even willing to deal with the secret little knee situation that he had going on. That's just kind of going on in the back channels that people sending through text messages. I think teams was willing to deal with all that, because I think it's Voch's opinion now. DeJuan Jones, he's my O-tackle 1, by the way. O-lineman 1, by the way. I think he's such a good talent that you can let all that kind of just slide or whatever. Man, we got the best knee doctors in the world in my, you know. we got the best nutritionists at our cafeteria. We can get that weight off of you. Oh, Senior Bowl was the weight. Man, come on, man. I've seen many people go to the Senior Bowl one day, whoop everybody and leave. We ain't worried about that. But when you're I don't love football guy, that's when teams tend to have a little bit of question about you. And I think that's why DeJuan Jones fell all the way to the 4th round. He's supposed to be a 1st round pick. I just told you, I looked you in the camera just like this and told you I think he was the best offensive lineman in the draft last year. And we probably going to go into some more context why I feel that way later. But at the end of the day, I just think him not being I love football guy was the reason why he kind of fell down. Because all we got is tape, Quincy. You know what I'm saying? Like we just watch tape and we go based on tape. This MF up here, you know what I mean? And they're the ones that do the interviews. They're the ones that got to put millions of dollars in this dude's pocket so they can feel how they feel. But just based off tape, he's a 1st round guy for me.
Yeah, and I always wonder, like, when it comes to a prospect like that, in some front offices, I feel like the GM is going to be the one that's like, hey, we got to get this dude. Like, you could work with that. Or sometimes it's the coaching staff that's like, I don't want to deal with that. Right. And I think with the Browns coaching staff is interesting because Jed Wills has had some of those issues where it's like he'll block for 3 seconds and then he'll just stop. He'll just he'll
what
completely
happened to him?
stop.
I thought because I don't keep up with Browns every day, but I keep up with Dre. What happened with Jed Wills, man?
I think he's solid, but I think the problem with Jed is he can't be on a team that's losing a lot.
I don't love football guy.
Yeah, I think he liked football when he winning. You know what I mean? Like you got dudes who can play at Bama because when they undefeated, it's real easy to get motivated. But when you like 6-8 with 2 games left in the season,
do it.
He'll just stop blocking. And I think that's part of why I think they were so hesitant to pull the trigger on DeJuan Jones because they're already dealing with something like that in Jed. But this is different because DeJuan, as much as this pre-draft process has been an issue for him, you don't really see that come up at Ohio State, like when he's played there. Like these issues, I don't know if maybe behind the scenes these issues were still happening, but these issues weren't anything that you saw on game day with him. And I'm just curious, like who in the room is trying to make the argument against it when it's the 4th round? Like, we can't do this. I just don't want to coach this guy. Like,
it's not like he was just some red shirt sophomore that gets to be drafted, right? Or I play a little bit of football and I may or may not like. He played football for a long time. Like he's a senior guy, Senior Bowl guy, right? So I'd imagine if you didn't love football, I don't love football would come up at some point in them 4 years, But he played Ohio State football for a while, and I didn't hear anything about I didn't love football guy. What I heard was, and I don't know what y'all heard because you're a Browns fan and y'all tapped in close, is that he wanted to be a basketball dude. Like he loved basketball more than football, is what I heard. And he played basketball. That's part of the little highlight tape. But what I heard was that he wanted to be more of an NBA guy than an NFL guy. But damn, you ain't an NBA guy, so like this is all you got.
That's what I'm saying. He ain't going to the league, so what we worried about there, right? But it's also, I think one of the things I heard was like he was very indifferent about the process. Like it kind of seemed like he just didn't care.
Yeah.
And that probably
that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're asking me questions to see my response. Oh, you know how long my arms are. It's on the internet already. Get out of, you know what I mean? So I can imagine being indifferent, but everybody's not going to be the Russell Wilson character guy. And I heard Russell was a piece of crap behind closed door, whatever. But everybody's not going to be PC guy. These guys come in all different shapes, sizes, and colors, man. And there are many football fans that say, "Oh, I want dogs on my football team." Well, dogs are nice guys. Sometimes you need dudes like that just don't feel like your nonsense. They just want to go out there and just maul and lay on people. So just if I'm leaning, if I'm tasked to figure out if I want to draft DeJuan Jones, I'm leaning on the table. You ain't got to ask me, does he not like football? I know what I don't like football O-lineman looks like. You know what I mean? And he don't look like I don't like football offensive line. He likes to fall on people. He like to pancake people. He like to, he likes to win these tough matchups. When they're going against Georgia and Jalen Carter gets in a gap exchange and ends up on his side, let's go get it, Jalen. You know what I mean? So he doesn't look like I don't love football guy on the field. But Ohio State won a lot of games, so I don't know what that looked like when y'all lose.
Yeah, and it didn't look like he shied away from like contact and like physicality in this game, right? That's why I separate him from like you remember Daniel Fale from last year? He was at Senior Bowl, Minnesota. big dude. But
400
like
pounds.
I remember seeing somebody half his size just keep going at his chest, and I was like, that's disqualifying for me. If you're that big, if somebody's coming at you and you don't do anything about that, like that's not something that I would find encouraging if I'm looking at you. But that's didn't happen with DeJuan. Like I'm wondering, is this just like he got a weird personality, and you know how some coaches are, they feel a type of way about, he maybe rubbed them the wrong way, and Mike Tomlin takes you off their draft board. Other coaches here, Mike Tomlin took you off their draft board. Then all of a sudden now everybody starts taking you off their board, and like this is like good players get to the fourth round. This is how it happens sometimes. I wonder if that's more the case with him, because what I hear doesn't match up with what I see, but that happens too. But let's talk about what we see, right, with DeJuan. He has massive arms, long arms, 82.5-inch arms or something crazy like that. It's in the 98th percentile of all prospects. He's 6'8". He's over 375 pounds. And he has giant hands. He does that hand trap real well in online. Yeah. What do you see from him as a prospect that makes you go, this is why he's number one over all of the other prospects that went on in the first round?
So I think sometimes when, we get into draft evaluation, this might be a long-winded answer. I apologize.
Oh, go ahead.
Sometimes we get into and when I say we, I don't mean me and you, but we like them, right? Just draft fans. I think sometimes we let other people's opinion carry weight for us. I think we just listen to the draft of Lombardi. They just kind of push who they want to push, and we just go, well, I may or may not feel this way about a player, but I don't know. They rank 20-something on this board, so I just got to put them 20-something on my board because they there. I don't think Osiris Torrance is a very good football player at all. And people kept trying to beat it upside our head that he's a first round pick. I don't see it. And I kept watching. I watched 4 years of Osiris. Couldn't stand. I went back to his old school. Never saw it, right? But people constantly beat you upside the head. It turns you into a coward, right? Plus, there's this idea that you got to know the type of prospects you like. You got to know the type of GM you are. You're either floor guy or you're ceiling guy, right? These high floor guys are guys that are ready to play for you right now, but if their ceiling is low, they may not get any better, right? These high ceiling dudes may be these dudes with low floors. They don't have very good technique, but they got a bunch of traits, so they can grow and develop, learn technique, and get better, those high ceiling guys. I prefer high floor guys. I like dudes that got technique already. These Bosa type kids that, man, I rolled out the bed. I just know how to hand fight and all that. When I watch DeJuan Jones versus his peers, right, especially Paris, because they're on the same offensive line, right, I see people talk themselves into Paris because he's more athletic, but Paris is ceiling guy, right? Boy, if you can fix Paris's hands and if you teach him O-line stuff, and if he get his black belt in O-line, boy, Paris may be the best offensive lineman in his class. But if you watch the film, they next to each other. You can't miss them. If you watch the film, there's a lot of times Paris will get beat. DeJuan will not. Paris will get beat. DeJuan will not, right? And then you go, well, DeJuan 370 pounds, so what if a quick, twitchy, bendy, edgy dude run past? I watched the film, Quincy. I ain't seen a quick, bendy, edge dude run past him yet. They may get to the back hip, but DeJuan Jones has this one elite trait, arm length. Is Tyree Wilson, DeJuan Jones, and John Jones. They got the longest arms in America, right? And DeJuan Jones' arm length is that is an elite trait. Paris ain't got an elite trait. He just got a bunch of good traits that can make him great. Skoronski doesn't have an elite trait. He actually is minus in the arm length, right? These other guys, Broderick, Darnell Wright, and I love Darnell Wright, but these guys don't have elite traits. DeJuan Jones at least has an elite trait of arm length, and he's strong, and he doesn't move bad for a big dude. He just doesn't move like a super athlete. So it's easy to talk yourself out of DeJuan Jones. Oh, he 370. Everybody's saying he's a second round pick. He 370 pounds. This dude can't be the best off. Quincy, I'm watching DeJuan Jones. He doesn't get beat. He goes against the best competition. Goes against the SEC dudes. They go to the playoffs. He whooped the playoff dudes. He plays against Georgia, which is a pro level defense already. Put hands on all them kids, right? And then DeJuan has this in his arm length, just as an offensive line guy. He has this fail safe, right? He's rarely in bad position. You know this because you probably watch him. He's rarely in bad position, but when he's in bad position and he got to turn a little bit to get to you, he can still grab you because he got arm length. I ain't seen that from Paris. Paris get beat by quick twitchy dudes all the time because he doesn't have a fail safe. He doesn't have something to, mitigate that back hip. He doesn't have the okay, well, let me catch you now. Once you're on Paris back hip, you got him, right? Peter Skoronski, if you a long arm defensive end and you play little brother with him, put your hand on his head and he can't reach you, he's beat. I don't work with DeJuan Jones. We seen it. Look. The daggum Georgia kids with the long arms tried to long arm DeJuan Jones, and he long armed them back, and they stopped moving because he's strong and he got grip strength. And they tried to club down on him, but his hands wouldn't move. DeJuan Jones is not a perfect prospect. He's not. That might be Paris. Like Paris got the upside and the cute little movement traits. He is a strong dude. He is a great size dude. But I'm floor guy. What do you show me right now? And DeJuan Jones does not lose fights that his left tackle, Paris Johnson, lose fights to. So that's why DeJuan Jones is my offense tackle number one. And his film totally checks out for me. Apparently, he just want to play basketball.
Yeah, it's something weird going on there. Was it the quote that came out was that he'd rather be in like the D League than the NFL or something like that?
I don't know. Somebody. He ain't got no agent. He got to get an agent. Nobody to tell him.
He got to get an agent. Yeah,
he ain't got a best friend or a mama. And hey, don't tell him that. Lie.
Be like, who gonna tell DeJuan Jones anything though? Like,
at least get your money in, and then. But you know what though? That might be the character flaw, right? Like, it's not that he wants to play basketball, but it's the fact that he goofy enough to say it in public. Oh, this dude ain't got no self-awareness at all. You get him out of here.
He'll realize he in the draft process, something like that. Like,
that's his business.
It kind of gives me like Gilbert Arenas vibes, where like Gilbert Arenas had all them quotes come out when he came to the NBA Combine, and it was like, what in the world are you doing right now? But one of the things I think that people kind of like focused on with him, and I didn't really get it because the arm length is there, but people really focused on like his feet and acted like that was a detrimental flaw to him. Do you think that's the case to DeJuan?
Show me the film where he getting beat with, because his feet are bad. Show me the film. Point it out to me. Also, what I think happens, right? And this also happened with guard. Just me watching O-line this year. Just because there's a dude at the top of the draft that moved better than everybody, don't mean the offensive line really move like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm watching Paris Johnson. Paris Johnson is a phenomenal athlete. But that don't mean we got to grade the other offensive linemen like that. Okay, you just get points for that. Like, okay, cool. These are your points. I just think DeJuan looked like he moved like a regular offensive lineman. He moves like a regular footed offense. He's not slow footed. Like Orlando Brown was slow footed, and he's fine in the league. You know what I mean? But DeJuan's not. I've seen DeJuan get open in space. I've seen him run, jailbreak screens, slow screens. I see him on outside zone protection, rollout protection. He's show the film. Show the film where he's looking slow foot. Osiris Torrance is very slow footed. He moved better than him. You know what I'm saying? So nah. I just think that's people talking themselves out of. That's people trying to find a way to, support the narrative that's, that's being spewed to you on the television. Like, nah, man, just somebody else say DeJuan Jones is not a first round pick. So you start to go, yeah, DeJuan Jones do get beat by twitchy people. Yeah, his feet are bad. I'm film guy, Quincy. Show me the film where his feet look terrible. They may not look great.
It's interesting too, because I think that happens when people don't have a lot of confidence either in themselves or in their work. Sure. Because if you feel confident about what you say, you're willing to go to bat for somebody, right? Like, okay, like last year, I felt confident about what I saw with Perion Winfrey. I thought he was going to be I think he's going to be a good player eventually in his career. Yep. And other people are like, well, he's here on this board or he's there on this board. And it's like, well, this is what I like. And I think we get so caught up in what Mel Kiper's board is, what this board is, what Bleacher Report say, what Pro Football Focus says. It's like, at the end of the day, whoever you think is worth the 72nd pick in the draft, that's the value. Like, I always laugh whenever somebody says, you won the draft value game. Yeah. After day one of the draft. How do you know? How do you know? All of these, I see Justin Gilbert get a high value grade in 2014 when the Browns took him. He wasn't good. He was one of the worst players in that draft. So what was the value? You know what I mean? So it happens that way where like nobody wants to stand out or have to defend their take because they don't feel like they can. But it's like,
Well,
If you think somebody's number one,
yeah,
say it.
it's but it's probably not their take though, because listen to what
Mhm.
you just said that they said. Well, according to this board, is what they say. Well, they don't have a real like philosophy in that, and that's any philosophy in life. Like if you seen something on the internet and you want to counsel somebody because it's boy, you better have something in you that associates with that. If not, well, this person said this, you can't defend it like because that's their philosophy,
Mhm.
and it works the same way in draft. You hear this long soliloquy I went on about DeJuan Jones? That's my philosophy, right? If somebody watching your show just kind of agrees with me and they barely heard what I said and they got to fight for DeJuan Jones with somebody else, they're not going to say that same thing that I said because my philosophy is backed up by hours of research. Patreon.com/Voch Lombardi and on my YouTube page. I put the film up there. Like it's backed up by hours of work, Quincy. So when I can speak on DeJuan Jones, I'm like, man, this is how I feel because boom, 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 boom. I'm not going to look at you and go, well, Todd McShay said, I don't care what Todd McShay said because I don't know what he saw on film. I don't know if Todd McShay can grade offensive linemen really well. Maurice Jones-Drew get on and I'm saying names, Quincy. He gets on the NFL Network and he just starts boy, this player, this player, this player. And I'm just disagreeing. I don't know if Maurice Jones-Drew watching film like that. Man, the people ain't watching film on some guys in the. I ain't gonna say that about all network people because I know some of them and they do good work. I know all these characters, guaranteed, all these characters ain't watching film on the 7th round guys. They not. So don't come up here and give me your scouting report on the 7th round guy if you ain't watching. Especially if I've watched the film on the 7th round guy, man. But Vice Maurice Jones-Drew said this offensive lineman in the 7th round good, but he's not. Sorry, my bad, Quinn.
Oh, you good? No, it's an interesting conversation of how this draft because it's really like a cottage industry of a bunch of people like just saying stuff and then it getting treated as fact and then we grade against it as if that is fact. Like it's wild that like we grade value off of people's boards who are not drafting. And it's not to say that everybody in the league knows better than people outside the league because people in the league prove all the time they're not good at this, right? So the idea that we argue so much about draft value or what's a good value here, it's like, hey, are the players good?
Yeah.
Like, if you think the player's good, take them where you want to take them. And
at the end of the day, though, Quinn, sorry to cut you off on that point. That's a fantastic point you just made. It don't matter where you take the guys as long as they're good, right? Cowboys drafted Tyler Smith last year, and Tyler Smith wasn't the dude that was supposed to be drafted at 26, but consensus boards, I don't trust PFF and all that, but consensus boards said that he was the best rookie offensive lineman last year. It don't matter where you take him. If you took him 55, as long as he came out like this, that's what matters. If you took him 5th, 12th, 26, it's the end result. So at the end of the day, I think a lot of these teams just more so looking for their guy. Look at what the Lions did, right? They got Jack Campbell and they got Gibbs from Alabama, running back Jahmyr Gibbs, right? Neither one of those dudes were projected to go around there, but if they're your guys and you feel like they're not going to be there for your next pick, as long as they end up good, it don't matter where you took them at.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the first round. People overthink this all the time. It's like, oh, well, what about where you picked them? It's like, if you get a good player, it don't matter where you draft them. And I know this because the Browns drafted Myles Garrett number 1 overall in a draft that had Patrick Mahomes, and nobody cares. Nobody ever goes, oh, Pat should have went number 1 in that draft. They look at Myles Garrett and go, nah, I understand. Like, there was no shot anybody was going number 1 overall in that. That's going to be interesting. I just thought about that. Just DeJuan Jones, if he ever lines up against Myles Garrett in camp, that'd be a test if he can outreach himself out to some of these.
Jose gonna look slow then, boy. DeJuan gonna have some. Boy, he gonna have some bad feet in it, and then look, all your beat writers gonna be like, look at DeJuan Jones' slow feet, man. That's Myles Garrett, man. Chill out.
I'm like, yeah, there's one Myles Garrett in the league, like what I mean. But what do you think about the ideal of like when you do have one of those elite edge rushers? Because I saw this with Pittsburgh. They drafted Broderick Jones. Everybody's like, oh, you gotta get him against TJ. Do you think that like for the development of an offensive lineman, it's good to have those dudes like early in their career go up against somebody who is not just like good or great, like elite level, like 5-6 dudes in the league like this?
Yeah, 100%, man. As an ex-offensive lineman, the best teacher is to just roll up and get whooped all day. Oh, you just got to go to practice and you just loathe one-on-ones. You loathe pass rush. You loathe run hull, and you just get smoked by this greatness every day. You know what I'm saying? One of my guys played with him and coached him, Justin Hamilton, went pro. play for the Cowboys for a little bit. One tech D tackle. I was a center, and he would just whoop me all day, day after day after day. But when Fridays came around, I'll line up against some kid from some other school that ain't him, and I'll go, boy, this don't look like McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? So, and just to give you another Cowboys, I know it's a Brown show, my bad, but it just it just resonates with me. But when Tyron Smith got drafted, D Ware was there. Hall of Famer DeMarcus Ware was there. And we didn't project Tyron to be this kind of guy. We knew Tyron was an athlete. He was a right tackle, but he couldn't even win the left tackle job. But you get smoked by D Law long enough, it happens to you. Tyron turns into a guy, then Randy Gregory got to go against Tyron. Randy Gregory gets better by just going up against Tyron. You know what I mean? So it just turns into this iron sharpens iron, steel sharpens steel. So I think that's good for him, because DeJuan Jones is gonna learn from getting whooped by Myles Garrett. He gonna line up against somebody. He gonna line up against like Trey Hendrickson or something and be like, okay, well, Trey's good. He's not Myles Garrett. You know what I mean? So now he's good versus Trey Hendrickson, who is a very good player also.
The game gets easier when you start on expert and then you just got to play on hard during the regular season. It tends to slow down a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. It also, like, I'm wondering where the Browns, how does he fit in their plan? Because right now they had Jet Wells. He just got his 5th-year option, so he's not going to be taking over that spot anytime soon. Jack Conklin's over on the other side. Now, we know Jack Conklin's good to miss a game or two, usually like 5 or 6 during the year. Yeah. So that's probably where he'll step in year one. And then you look at the Browns situation. They have a pretty good offensive line. Bill Callahan over there. Do you think DeJuan Jones, one of them prospects, like, hey, you got to have the right situation to get him to get right? Or is this like, or do you think he's just going to kind of be who he is?
No, I mean, I think he's a good player regardless of what system you because they even ran a lot of zone at Ohio State, in which they needed him to move a little bit to do that. Mm-hmm. So if you're a team that's not doing that, you just need him to line off and just push somebody, man. That's even better for him. So I think he can do better, because he was always in these blocking exchanges that weren't always favored towards him. So yeah, for sure, he'll be fine. As long as you ain't ask him do no goofy stuff. Hey, DeJuan, come play center or something. No, I don't think he do that. But as long as he's playing tackle, I don't know if he's a left side player. I'm not in the league. I wasn't privy to that workout. To see if he can kick slide left, or if he can, pass guys along left or whatever. But if he's going to be a right tackle in the league, then he'll be fine as a right tackle. He could play.
And then, like, when his ability in space, like his ability to hunt, if he's on the screen, if he has to pull, if he's tackle eligible, how does he do in those situations? I know he didn't play a lot of tackle eligible at Ohio State, but when they did pull him, or when he was asked to kind of move and find guys in space, how was his vision in that way?
Well, it wasn't perfect, and his vision was fine, but he is 370 however many pounds or whatever he was when he was playing. So I mean, you probably have to keep that in mind, but just like any good offense coordinator, take your players, figure out what they're good at, and just do what they're good at. You wouldn't ask certain players to do certain things, because that's just not that's not their thing. So if we're running screens or something like that, I won't run it to the side to where DeJuan Jones got to run and hit the first corner. I may just run the screen to where, okay, well, he just kind of get to lead somebody upfield, chop block him, and the guard gets to go hit the first corner. There's always adjustments you can make. So, he's not a perfect player, because then he'll be first overall. He'll be learning with Tunzel then, But I do think in this class where, the top of the class may not be as good as other tops of the class or whatever, right? I do think DeJuan Jones is better than many of these guys, but I don't think he's this top tier, just can't be beat, just all the best traits in the world, undefeatable, undisputed player. I don't think that's the case. So I think he'll be a good player in the league as long as he get in shape and he loves football a little bit and don't want to play basketball.